Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen, who I met in person for the first time yesterday.
Could
Believe
you
it or not, we haven't
imagine?
ever met in person. We'll get to more of that in a moment, folks. But there's the photo that shows that we met in person. I want to talk about this grift trip by Donald Trump to the Middle East, starting in Saudi Arabia, as Donald Trump pays homage to the countries that have sovereign wealth funds that are basically giving Donald Trump gifts and money and resorts. So he started and he's saluting their military. Just think about it. The United States president is there saluting the military of Middle East nations. And the Midas Touch Network is probably one of the only corporate news networks that's saying that is not normal, folks. And we're also one of the few that are saying this is not normal as well. Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia, very confused looking, walking to the opposite side of the room. Adel doesn't even know where he is. He has a literal guide, a person who's stationed there to help him walk towards where he's supposed to walk and help him sit in a chair. And you will see he can't even once he's brought over to the chair, he can't sit in it. And the person needs to literally help him. Just watch for yourself what went down earlier today. Let's play the clip.
Signing on behalf of the United States, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
Play it again. Play it again.
Signing on behalf of the United States, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
And I said play it again because the fact that we have this platform that's bigger than corporate news, we're going to play what they're not going to play. We're going to talk about the things they're not going to talk about. By the way, here's Donald Trump having a hard time even keeping his eyes open in Saudi Arabia in that same meeting. Play this clip.
Read a lot of the material now out of Saudi Arabia, and Mohammed bin Salman is saying we need a resolution on a Palestinian state. And I don't necessarily recall several years ago, pre-October 7th, as that being a demand that he had necessarily stated publicly. Do you think his position has changed, or do you think the way he has expressed himself has that?
And then show these photos, Jeremy. Marco Rubio falling asleep during Trump's speech. I think we've got a photo of Rubio falling asleep. Maybe we have that photo. Yeah. How about Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent falling asleep during Donald Trump's speech? Okay. Now let me show you when Donald Trump was actually giving a speech. Donald Trump's speech was this. I kid you not. Let me tell you what it was. Donald Trump goes, America, we're hot. We are hot. Right now, we're hot. But you are hotter. Saudi Arabia, I'm going to get in trouble saying this. We're hot. You're hotter. Play the clip.
We are rocking. The United States is the hottest country, with the exception of your country, I have to say, right? I'm not going to take that on. No, Mohammed, I'm not going to take that on. Wouldn't that be a terrible thing if I made that full statement? But I will not do it. You're hotter. At least as long as I'm up here, you're hotter.
I mean,
Your Honor?
He's treating it like it's a Comedy Central roast from the Friars Club. I mean, while I'm up here, I'm going to just turn around. I'm going to placate you and try to stroke your ego, right? Because that's the right thing to do. You're a king. I'm just the president of the United States. But Ben, soon he anticipates on being king. The funny thing that I wanted to mention when I was watching the clip of Trump walking towards Mohammed bin Salman versus to the other table. I just want you to think for a half a second. You have two tables there, one that has the flag of the Saudi royal family, and the other, not surprisingly, the flag of the United States of America. And somehow or another, he didn't think that the empty table with the flag of the United States of America is where he had to go to sign. Okay, let's assume that he didn't. Let's just assume that. I want you to imagine, Ben, imagine if hypothetically that was Joe Biden. Imagine what the Republicans would be screaming right now across all news. Newsmax, OAN, Fox, The Post, etc. What would they be saying? What would front page turn around and look like?
I can tell you because I know what the front page is today, Michael. I don't have to go back. The media today, right this freaking moment, right now, as we're doing this, is talking about former President Biden over and over again. Honestly, it seems like every reporter from corporate news, from Jake Tapper to an Axios guy to this one, has a book out right now on former President Biden being mentally incompetent and old and addled, and they each want to one-up each other about that. When we saw with our own eyes, was former President Biden old? Yeah, he's old. So if you want to be ageist, just say that you're ageist and you don't like old people, like if that's where you want to go with it. But former President Biden had a competent and coherent policy. When you took and transcribed what former President Biden said, did he stutter? Yeah, so stipulated.
By the way, Biden's been stuttering since he was 3 years old.
When you do a readout of a Biden transcript, it is coherent, it is complex, it hits points, it is diplomatically cogent, and it understands the intricacies in international relations, and he surrounded himself with a smart team. And why the hell when we see what's happening now, they're still talking about it right now. I saw a report that said today, the big one from Jake Tapper, Biden's team was talking about whether they would need a wheelchair in another term. By the way, I'll show this clip in a little bit. I have Jeremy pulling it. Biden's in New York right now. We can see the guy walking around doing well. By the way, we know where else we saw him? At Pope Francis's funeral. Biden alert, there, shaking hands, warmly greeted by the international community. Donald Trump sitting up, like drooling on himself in like a blue suit. Trump wears, the one day Trump decides to wear a blue suit, by the way, is to the funeral of Pope Francis, which violates the dress code. I mean, you could say who cares, but like that's the one day you wear a blue suit. But Cohen, I don't have to go back and even compare. This crazy media environment is spending the day today attacking Biden while Donald Trump is out there getting bribed with $400 million 747 jets and Trump hotels in Qatar and Oman and and United Arab Emirates using his
contracts and so on. You know, in my Substack this morning, Ben, one of the things that I actually wrote, I called it, which it's, this is what Trump said that he wanted in 2015 when we were starting that camp, that this should be the greatest infomercial, meaning this political run in the history of U.S. politics. It's why I call it an infomercial presidency, because that's really what it was. It's like a slapstick QVC episode of The Apprentice presidential edition. This is not a joke by any stretch of the imagination. I remember listening to them turning around and beating the living shit out of Hillary Clinton when she accepted a $400 necklace. Do you remember that, Ben? Or were you too young?
I remember it, and then I remember the whole campaign. I'm sure you remember. You were front lines. How easy was it? you were doing it.
I was old.
You were the one who was doing it. How so it's all truthfully not all that funny.
$400 necklace. The GOP went ballistic on, including some of the Democrats. How dare she? You're not allowed to take anything more than like a cup of coffee or a glass of tea, a cup of tea, as they say in England, right? Here he's taking. And he's not being coy about it. He's being, as Caroline Levitt bullshit Barbie says on a regular basis, they are open, they are transparent in their interest and their actions. Well, yes, you could be open and transparent and still be violating the law, which is exactly what they are doing, violating the emoluments. This is, you're talking about a $400 million 747-8 aircraft that I saw the interior. I don't know if, Jeremy, if you have any of the photos of the interior, it's fucking spectacular. When they say it is a floating palace, no, not that. They have photos of the interior, which would blow your mind. Do you want to talk about a floating palace?
Golden toilet bowls, golden walls. Gold, and it's Qatar. It's real gold. It's not Trump gold. It's real gold.
It is legitimately magnificent, to say the least. And then you have maybe one of the stupidest members of the Senate. You're talking about the guy, what's his name? John Neely Kennedy, Republican from Louisiana, who turns around and he says, well, no, didn't France give the United States the Statue of Liberty? And then this morning on CNN, they asked that question, by the way, to Norm Eisen, who's truly a brilliant man. And he turns around, he goes, yeah, but here's the difference. It would be different if the aircraft was going to the United States of America and the government decided to keep it as a gift. This is the same as Donald Trump turning around and taking the Statue of Liberty for himself when he decides to part as the president in 2028. That's the point. Trump has every intention of taking this aircraft. Now, here's the interesting thing. Everybody's saying, well, he can't do that if it's a gift to the United States. No. Once again, and it's where Caroline Levitt is being actually, for the first time, truly honest. They have concocted a scheme that would give them the ability to do this. And you may say, tell us, Michael, do tell. And well, I'm going to do that right now. The way they're going to do it is they're going to turn the aircraft over to the Department of Defense. And who, of course, is the Secretary of the Department of Defense? We all know. It's dear old loyal lapdog Pete Hegseth, who is going to turn over this aircraft to Donald Trump before he ends up leaving office in 2028, making it Donald Trump's aircraft, where he can fly around on it, he could use it, and the ultimate bullshit line is ultimately, yep, this is the aircraft. Ultimately, imagine that it's going to become part of the Trump library.
You know, I think when we talk about also the bribes that are being taken by Trump in these Middle East countries, I think we have to be direct with our language, because emoluments is this, you know, the emoluments clause, right, is to stop bribes. Like that's what it is. And I think, you know, we should also, you know, call it what, you know, what it certainly, you know, looks to be. But I think it's also important that we then connect it with what Americans are going through, right? I think step one is, here's what Trump is doing. Step two is, here's what he's doing to the American people. Like, we saw the latest budget from the MAGA Republicans that is being marked up right now, right? It increases the debt ceiling by what, $4 trillion. So our deficit is going to skyrocket. You know, all of this idiot term that the media uses for Republicans, they call them what, fiscal hawks, like caw, like they're hawks, caw. Like what the hell is a fiscal hawk? These people are the least fiscally, they're hawks though, caw. Like it's just so stupid, the narratives that form. What they're a hawk? The hell are you even talking about, a hawk? These are the dumbest financial people ever, who every time they get into power, they're the reason our deficit skyrockets. It's them. And actually it's the Democrats who then have to fix it. And then the hawks, they get this name hawks, like they get the cool names, right? They get hawks. And then they attack the people for fixing it and then get into power and then they destroy it again. But I think we have to contrast it. And what else are they doing in this budget? They're cutting SNAP, right? Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. They're cutting food for poor people. That's what they're doing. They're literally stealing food from the mouths. By the way, people in red states also, they're like, yeah, man, Donald Trump gonna be going on that gold palace in Qatar, man. Yeah, Qatar, everybody. Trump, Qatar first. He's literally
giggity. Yeah.
He's going, say give me your freaking bread and I'm gonna take it so I can give myself golden palaces and give billionaires, oligarchs tax cuts for trillions of dollars. I mean, these MAGAs are freaking evil. They're taking away your health care. But notice the pivot here as well. And Cohen, I know you know what they're doing here. So as it's very sneaky, it's very fraudy what these guys are doing. And it should be obvious, but it needs to be connected. Why do you think Donald Trump comes out with the executive order gimmick of cutting healthcare by 50 to 90% by some bullshit most favored nations thing where he goes, I'm going to make the pharmaceutical companies sell to America at the same price they pay overseas. And look what I've done. Healthcare is now 50 to 90%. You know why they're running that scam? Because he knows that will never pass because an executive order isn't law. He gets to go around and say, look, it's what he's saying today. He says, I cut healthcare 50 to 90%. I did it. It's done. The same way he lies and says he's solved inflation, while he literally rips away your Medicaid. And it's not a Democrat or a Republican issue. Yeah. This guy's a thief.
Yeah.
He's a felon for a reason. He takes your health care and then he signs the executive order and goes, look what I did. And then he goes to Saudi Arabia. Play the clip, Jeremy. This is him in Saudi Arabia. He goes to and announces, I've cut health care by 50 to 90%. Watch what he says.
We're doing what a lot of smart people would do. And we're not necessarily being politically correct. You saw what we did yesterday with healthcare. We've cut our healthcare by 50 to 90%. You're going to see drugs and pharmaceuticals come down at numbers that nobody has ever seen. And drugs, pharmaceuticals, we think will be dropping. And it will be a redistribution of costs with other nations, which really took advantage of a very nice group of people that ran our country.
None of that's happening. It's not really going to happen.
Ben, how many times, brigaders, have you heard Donald Trump use that same line? Like nobody has ever seen before. It's basically on everything, whether it's on tariffs. We're going to make so much money like no one has ever seen before. He's doing it with drug prices. He's doing it with everything. But Ben is 100% right here. Brigaders, I want to sort of make, it's almost like a plea to you. We can't do this alone. And while I applaud Midas Touch Network, #1 independent news media outlet, won the Webby last night, which is why I ended up seeing Ben and Brett and Jordy. And I mean, how great is that, right? Got a chance to spend time with the brothers and with his dad and so on, and his sister and the whole family. And of course, my EP, Sydney. I got to be honest with you. We can't do it alone. There's a reason why Midas Touch Network is number one. There really is a reason, because you're not going to get this type of an analysis. It may be raw, it may be unfiltered, like I call my show on Substack, Raw and Unfiltered, but it's truthful. You're not getting an ounce of truth, not a fucking ounce of truth from the other side. You're just not. And the fact that you could have television stations with people like Scott Jennings or Artie Idala or even Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary, fuck out of here. It's like you sit there, sure, if you want to pump up some bullshit, how easy is it in order to promote a lie? And this is so dangerous when you're talking about, look, who wouldn't want to get? There's not one of us on this right now that wouldn't accept a $400 million free aircraft. Now, truth be told, we probably couldn't afford the gasoline in it, but no problem. Who wouldn't take a $400 million floating palace like the one that we were showing you the photos of? And Jeremy, if you could find a couple of other photos, just fucking throw them in there. But here's the thing. What about the national security issue? What about the fact that with nanotechnology and spyware, how do you know that Qatar doesn't have, I don't know, let's just call it a fail switch on the engines, that they call up Trump and they say to him, here, we need you to do this right now. And he says, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, while you're flying over the Indian Ocean, or worse, as Cheyenne pointed out before, maybe he's flying over a city and they cut the engines. No, serious. What about the fact that there's so much top secret shit that goes on while they're sitting there and they're, in the situation room on Air Force One? That how do you know that the whole place isn't bugged visually or audio? You don't. It is an absolute national security nightmare. And the fact that everybody, and I mean every single GOP member, isn't screaming bloody murder. It is language. It's exactly what I've been calling it. It is a Trojan horse. They're giving him something, which, by the way, is a fucking bribe, no matter how you want to describe it. But you don't even know what's inside the Trojan horse, the 747-8 Boeing. They have no idea. They're going to have to strip that thing down to the absolute metal, which is going to cost a fortune to put it all back. So it's technically not for free. It's not like you're going to get some fucking guy walking around with a scanner that's gonna say, oh, there's a camera. Oh, over there's a sound. You can't tell what's going on. It's embedded. It could be embedded in the technology. This is such a danger to us, to each and every one of us, which is why I say, please, I am begging each and every one of you, help us as a group. Right now, Midas Touch Network has just about 5 million followers, subscribers. Let's get it to 10 million. And all each of you has to do, what a great picture. All you need to do is tell one person, family, friend, you must join the conversation. You must join this community and follow me as well. Whether it's on here, Political Beatdown, on my Substack, on my Mea Culpa podcast, every single one of you should listen. At least listen to the introductions. Not only are they fucking hysterical like I am, but on top of that, they are thought-provoking, all right? And they are alarming because they are factually accurate. So, my friends, I'm asking each and every one of you, help us to grow the community so that it is so big that nobody comes close. And when 2026 rolls around, it's not just a win. I'm talking about a blue tsunami that's so fucking big that we completely drown out this GOP group of sycophants and these bunch of thieves and these bunch of fucking grifters. That's what we need to do. We need to be vigilant. We need to be loud, and we need to be proud. And with your help, we could be there tomorrow.
Cohen and Beatdown Brigaders, if this is supposed to be America first, why are we accepting Qatari hand-me-downs, Qatari seconds, right? So after Qatar gets the first sip and they drink it, like then we drink it next. I mean, do we even realize just yes, there are the security concerns, yes, there are the bribe issues, but isn't it also just like an embarrassing thing that America, which is supposed to be like the biggest superpower, is out there begging Qatar,
For
a Middle
400
East,
billion?
for a $400 billion, for a $400 million like airplane, and that like I'm not I'm not suggesting there should be any price, right? But if you just think about it, if you're going to sell it,
you're going to sell
like
America
3 trillion,
yeah, right?
go like 3 trillion, 4 trillion. If you're going to do it, your price, just think about the message to the world. Your price as the United States of freaking America is $400 million. But by the way, you know who then sees that and goes, got it. So they all see it, right? So Syria says, oh, Trump's going to the Middle East. $400 million. Look what Qatar did. Let's go in Damascus. Let's build the Trump Hotel in Damascus. Let me pitch that to Donald. Okay, great idea. You think that's going to work? Yeah. Just tell him you're going to build a freaking Trump hotel. He'll love it. He'll drop the sanctions against you. 24 hours later, Trump drops the sanctions against Syria after they say they're building a Trump hotel. Now, this shouldn't be a debate. This shouldn't be a discussion. To Cohen's point, when you see a Republican go on TV and then justify this, the same people who were saying $400 bracelet from Hillary Clinton or talking about, oh, Hillary Clinton doesn't look well, she looks sick, and all of those things during the 2015, 2016 campaign. There's not a debate. Like, if you're not outraged at this, then let's just face it, you hate America.
And let me go.
Move on.
Can I go one step
Move on.
further here, Ben? It's not just $400 million aircraft. It's not just about a licensing deal in Damascus. This is like a QVC commercial. It's the infomercial I was telling you about, like in my Substack. But wait, there's more. Not only are you going to get a bunch of Trump steak knives, here's the thing. They're now hawking these Trump tokens, these coins, with Trump's face on it, run by Don Jr. and so on. And the person who buys the most coins, we don't know who they are because crypto is it's not transparent, right? It's all in code and so on. We don't know who the person is that's going to be buying it. But if you go ahead and you buy probably, what is it, about $50 million or $25, $30 million worth of these coins, you get a private one-on-one dinner with the president of the United States. Now, there's a reason. There is a reason why presidents are required to disassociate themselves from their holdings. Trump has not done that here. But once again, he's so blatantly giving us the middle finger right to our faces. He's giving us the middle finger and saying, you know what? I don't give a shit if you think I'm a grifter. I don't care if you think that this is a violation of emoluments clauses, that this is a violation of the law. I'm doing it. And you know why I'm doing it? Because I can. Because I own the MAGA party. I own the GOP. And in his mind, he also believes that he owns the judiciary. This is a real problem because this is our country. It's our country. He works for us. Well, he doesn't see it that way. And that's why I'm going to say it again. Share this with one person. Share my mea culpa. Share our Substacks. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the entire community. Every program that's on Midas Touch, support it. Let's make Midas Touch 5 times the size of Fox or any other outlet. Why? This is the only place you should probably want to go to hear truth.
We're going to take a very quick break. We have only one break on the show today. It's super quick. When we come back, we've got a lot more to discuss. I want to remind everybody about our Patreon, patreon.com/political beatdown. We'll do another Zoom meeting with our patrons. So check it out, patreon.com/political beatdown. Also, the Mea Culpa podcast. That's Michael Cohen's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Mea Culpa wherever podcasts are available. And also subscribe to Michael Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show. Help Michael Cohen hit 1 million subscribers. We'll be right back after our first and only quick break of the show.
You ever look in the mirror after a week of political insanity and think to yourself, wow, I look like I just did a 3-year bid at Otisville with no moisturizer. Yeah, well, me too. Long work weeks, chaotic weekends, and stress that ages you faster than a Trump deposition. That's why I tried Prolon. And let me tell you, it's the real deal. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet, it's like hitting the reset button without actually starving yourself like you're trying to sneak past the feds. I mean, it's all plant-based, soups, snacks, teas, all of it scientifically designed to nourish you while your body thinks it's fasting. Basically, it tricks your cells into rejuvenating like they just got a subpoena and need to clean up their act and fast. And now, boom, they've dropped the next gen version. Same science-backed magic, but cleaner, tastier, 100% organic and ready to eat. Because who has time to fast like it's 1999? I mean, I did the original program, felt like a new man. Now, I'm all in on next gen because this isn't just about looking good on camera. It's about feeling good off camera too. Look, this stuff is no gimmick. It was developed at USC's Longevity Institute, and it's backed by top U.S. medical centers. I mean, we're talking biological age reduction, better skin, more energy, fat loss, metabolic health. Basically, it's like turning back the clock without even having to sell your soul. So here's the deal. For a limited time, Prolon is offering Political Beatdown listeners, get a load of this, 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just head to prolonlife.com/beat. That's prolonlife.com/beat and give yourselves a little beatdown of their own in the best possible way.
Welcome back, and shout out to our pro-democracy sponsor. The discount codes are in the description below, and I've used that one. It's actually really, really good. So check it out. Jordy negotiates great deals with our pro-democracy sponsors, and they keep the show going. I mean, it's a big deal. We're thankful for them, and I know you'll actually enjoy those products. They're good stuff. I want to address this message that I got sent to me on social media because I think it's a good point of discussion with the outrage that we just expressed. And I think it's important we address sometimes criticisms, of the show. I watch the Meiselas Network, great show, but goodness me, the over-the-top outrage of delivery leaves me exhausted. The people who will be attracted will be those voters, not MAGA, who gave Trump their vote because they believed him. MAGA is unreachable. Well, let me be very clear. I actually think the delivery is actually, pretty methodical. There's not a lot of screaming going on. I mean, yes, are we outraged? But we should be outraged. And I want to be very clear. I could care less if MAGA watches this and goes, oh my God, I didn't realize this. Sometimes you just have to realize that some of these MAGAs are unreachable, okay? And that's okay. And if you start to chase them and you have to sacrifice your values and principles, one, that's a big problem with you as a host trying to chase these MAGA people. And it also validates them. And it makes you look desperate that you think you have to chase MAGA people who take pride in harming marginalized communities, treating people like shit, and doing whatever Donald Trump flip-flops and says on each and any day. I think you need to be loud and proud about your values, and you need to authentically fight for people. Whether you want to say this is a criticism of the Democratic Party or whatever, they're so busy talking about messaging. What's the messaging? Should I do this messaging? Should I do that messaging? Why don't you just look human beings in the face and say, I care about you, and really mean it? And why don't you listen to what human beings, rather than trying to do messaging in a laboratory, why don't you look at people and say, explain to me what you're going through? Because when you do that and you take a step back and you listen to people, what you'll find out that people are scared and people are suffering and people don't have the luxury to think about, oh, this type of messaging works or that type of messaging works. People want to be able to afford a home. People don't like the psychological torture of living paycheck to paycheck. And that's how they describe it, psychological torture. People who work a job want to be paid with dignity, and they are pissed off that they see the CEOs getting all of these tax breaks and getting paid tens of thousands of times more than them, and they can barely get by.
They
at all.
don't want snaps. You think that people want to have to take the snaps program? They don't. People don't want to. They have to. That's how they survive. But this group of animals, all they want to do, and I am somebody who gets, let's just say, overexcited from this, because I do want to try to go after the MAGA people, though I understand I'm probably barking up a bad tree here. But here's the thing that gives me hope. Ben and I talk about this all the time. 72% of Americans are unhappy with the way that Trump is handling the economy. They're unhappy when it comes to the tariffs. 72%. Let's knock it down, for argument's sake, to 70%. That means MAGA, those are the ones that no matter what you do, you will never get through to them. That's only 30%. I will gladly trade that 30% for the balance on any given Tuesday. All right? Because this entire election was all about under 2 million votes. It's the 2 million votes that we need to concentrate on. The independents, the people who felt marginalized. You know when they're going to come back? You know when they're going to become Midas Touch Network supporters? You know when they're going to become Michael Cohen supporters and Ben Meiselas supporters? When all of this stupidity that's coming out of Washington right now, of this administration, kicks them right in the ass with steel-tip boots, that they can't afford their medication, regardless of Trump's 90% reduction in medical expenses, in prescription prices. It's going to hit them in the ass when they can't afford food, or they can't afford their pencils, right? You can only have 5 pencils. Or 2 Barbie dolls. That's the issue here. These are the things that are going to hit these individuals right in their own pocket. They won't be able to afford the gas in their car, as well as medication, as well as their rent, as well as whatever, their food. Then they're going to go ahead and they're going to say, oh my God, Ben Meiselas, Michael Cohen, you guys were right. What was I thinking? Boom. I wish I had a V8. The problem is I can't afford it.
And when we talk about things like diversity and inclusion, right? These should not be things that are gimmicks. Okay. We're talking about human beings and lives, and to me, this is the problem with politics, that it gets gamified, and you have, oh, are you with DEI or are you not with DEI? And then we have a debate that exists in some dystopian framework that no matter what, we shouldn't even be having a debate in. There shouldn't be a discussion like, what the hell are you talking about? DEI, this. Do you mean didn't earn it? like the Trump cabinet members? Is that what you mean, DEI? Because when we're talking about human beings' lives, and I think about, professional settings that I've been in my life that have been enriched by having Black people, white people, Latino people, Asian people, Indian people, men, women, trans people. Do I go around in my workplace bullying people because of what they look like? In all of the settings I've been in, that's led to a more enriching work environment that's helped people, and we've always treated each other with respect. So why are we behaving in ways that are just despicable as human beings? I mean, for me to observe these MAGA Republicans and Congress members bully a transgender Congresswoman and say, well, the gentleman stand. What are you doing? Why do you get off on that? That's a human being. Just shut up. Why are you treating people like this? And I also just think sometimes the discussion is like 5-year-olds, like peepees and vaginas. Like, you remember, like, oh, you got a peepee, you got a vagina, you got a. Why are we talking about this? See, why as adults, as grown people, are we? Why is this why is this even occupying time? People can't afford homes. People's SNAP benefits are being cut. People can't afford groceries right now in the United States. And it's because of a billionaire class, an oligarch class, who's stealing it from them. And they're making you talk about peepees and vaginas and stupid shit that is not, and demeaning your fellow human beings, when we should be respectful and treat people with equality. And they're doing this so they can steal your health care to give themselves tax cuts. Like, don't you see? And this is, again, the corporate news. There's different degrees. You just have state regime media, Fox, right? Which is no different than Kim Jong-un state regime media, or Russian state regime media, or China state regime media, right? Like China Daily News and Fox, each for their own thing. It's state regime news at this point. But even corporate news exists in these frameworks, about, the manosphere, this and this and the. Guys, what are we talking about here? Okay, treat human beings with dignity, act like a grown-up, and let's talk about the issues that really matter. And we're living in all of these abstractions and battles that are these right-wing frameworked arguments, all of them. And we have to just say enough of this bullshit. I not want to talk about that. I need to shift the framework to what people are really saying. And Senator Bernie Sanders said it perfectly to me, that the most important issues to people are the issues that are being least discussed. Whether that is housing, whether it is getting paid with dignity, right? Whether it is healthcare. These are the issues that matter to people. Let's talk about it. And in the absence of it, the issue is Donald Trump speaks to those people, but he speaks to them with fraud. What does he say about tariffs? I'll show you. This is what he says this is what he said about his tariff gimmick. The same way, and just notice what he's doing. He recognizes the suffering of people, but he views it as a way to prey on them, because people who suffer are often easier marks for con artists and people like Donald Trump. So he'll do the executive order, 50%, 90%. I've saved your health care for you, without doing it and actually stealing it. His whole tariff gimmick as well, the lie was, we're going to make it so you don't even have to pay taxes. We're going to take in so much money. We're eliminating taxes in total for you. Watch what he said a few weeks ago. Here, play this clip.
And we're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to cut taxes for the people of this country. It'll take a little while before we do that, but we're going to be cutting taxes. And it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut, because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax. Now, we have a lot of debt that's been left to us, unfortunately, over many years. We'll take care of that. But the tariffs, if people only understood the tariffs, we're going to be giving people of this country a tremendous tax cut. And we're going to start with people making less than $200,000 a year.
That's why Republicans love him. Let's be clear. They love him because he does that shit right there, which is con artist 101 right there. That's what they love about him. That's what this
it is. It's the big con. In fact, you know, in my Substack, I actually end it. Well, after, and this was one of the topics that I was talking about, is the way that Trump comes out and that he starts speaking and lying. And while he's sitting there lying, American families are bracing for inflation driven by Trump's failed economic brinksmanship. Who here isn't experiencing grocery prices costing more? Your gas prices have not gone down. And retailers are warning of delays and scarcity. Why? Because there's no inventory coming in. There's no product coming in. But rest assured, one thing I can promise you, the chandeliers at Mar-a-Lago will still be glistening. And you need to ask yourself every single day, what did Trump accomplish for us? Well, let me spell it out for you. Nothing for you, everything for him. Because for Trump, the presidency isn't a job. It is a fucking commercial. It's a QVC special with nuclear codes. It's one long-ass advertisement for his brand, his buildings, his business, and his bloated ego. And that's why I constantly keep saying, we must build the community, build the community, build the community in order to stop this. Because if this thing keeps running on its tracks in the manner that it is, we're all going to be screwed. And there won't be anything that anybody will be able to do to stop it.
Cohen, who you want to give the two-finger salute to?
You know, obviously, I'd like to give it to the guy that's sitting there in Saudi Arabia lying about drug prices, willing to sell America for $400 fucking million. Guy who turns around and is allowing people who the most needy to lose their SNAPs programs in order, you know, to benefit somebody else, in order to benefit another billionaire, you know, who needs another aircraft. You know, there's so many things that are wrong right now. So many guy who's out there hacking his Trump meme coin in order to, right, put more money into his family's pocket. You know how much I try to stay away from giving the two-finger salute to the President of the United States. But unfortunately, we're in a point right now that I just cannot. And so, Mr. President, honestly, wake the fuck up. It's enough. You work for us. We are not your servants. We are not serfs. We are Americans. You're the president for supposed to be all American people. And the shit that you're doing, it's just not working. And for that, I just got to say, fuck you, man.
I'll leave everybody with this. Michael Cohen and I got to meet in person after the Webby Awards yesterday. There's Michael Cohen and myself. We were at this Webby's after party, which was a fun event. At the Webby's, the Midas Touch podcast won Podcast of the Year, which is actually their top honor for all podcasts in the world. And it was an incredible win that we share with our Beatdown Brigaders, with our legal AFers, and of course with the Midas Mighty. This community was really the one who won that award. Pretty cool. Also tomorrow, my brothers and I, we did an interview earlier in the week with Katie Couric, which is cool because I grew up with Katie Couric. And she's got a YouTube channel, and that's going to drop tomorrow. And she did like a full, like 2-hour Katie Couric interview where she asked us tough questions, you know, and so it was a good long interview.
I've known Katie for 30 years, by the way.
You know, it was great. And, you know, hopefully we work more with her in the future, and everybody check out that interview as well. It was great to see. It was great to see Cohen. It was funny though. There's a few moments too where, you know, everybody who's there wants a photo with Cohen, and so people would end up giving me the camera to take the photos of them and Cohen. Heck, you take a photo, and then Cohen would say, "You realize that this guy just won the podcast?
I just won the fucking Webbies, and you're asking him to be a photographer?" I said, well, let's do a selfie. You're not going to ask Ben Meiselas of MTN to turn around like, oh my God, that's Ben Meiselas. Yeah, that's the guy that was standing up there with his two brothers that is standing directly behind him. You're asking him to take. Would you take our photo? I mean, people have no shame. I'm in the middle of talking to Ben's dad and to his stepmom, and all of a sudden to his sister, and we're having this fun conversation. This guy just taps me right on the shoulder, and it was one after the other. I almost was thinking about, maybe forcing people, hey, you got to buy tickets to take a photo.
There were some very funny moments, but nothing replaces human connection. And so even though Cohen and I have known each other for 5 years, we actually had never seen each other physically in person. That was a great event. Thank you everybody who watches this. I mean, y'all really made that Webby Award possible. And we look forward to continuing to grow and
well, it really is a major success, and you and Brett and Jordy and your whole family should really take a lot of joy in the accomplishments of the three of you. And I mean, how many podcasts are out there? To be number one is truly tremendous. I mean, to be top 100 is truly tremendous. And thanks to so many of you. Let's make all the Midas Touch Network properties top 50, top 100. Go to my Mea Culpa podcast with Blue. Listen to it. I promise you, you will enjoy it. Make sure you listen to Legal AF or Politics Girl, or I don't know how many others are on this network. Whatever is on the network, listen to it. Everyone has a different perspective, but here's the one perspective that you're going to get. It's called truth.
So true. So great to be here. Still going to spend some more time in Manhattan. We're going to spend the week. Met my wife and my baby and I. It's my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom! Happy birthday, Randy, Midas Mama. And next week, Cohen, I turn 40 on May 19th. 40-year birthday.
You a youngin'.
I turned 40. All right. Well,
thanks a lot for 40. Congrats to you, Ben.
Well, appreciate it. It's been great spending these 5 years with you as a partner, co-host, and really appreciate you, Cohen. All right. Thank you. And all of you, Midas Mighty, your partners as well. And Beatdown Brigaders, you've been in this with us and been in the trenches with us every step of the way. Everybody, make sure you go to patreon.com/political beatdown. We'll have another Zoom chat soon. Make sure you subscribe to the Mea Culpa audio podcast wherever podcasts are available. Just search Mea Culpa. You can go to store.midastouch.com and check out the gear. I still think we have some Mea Culpa gear up there as well at store.midastouch.com. Make sure you go to Michael Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show. That's at The Michael Cohen Show. We've got a video that we're about to upload here on the Midas Touch YouTube channel in about 5 minutes as well. We cover the fact that everybody fell asleep to Donald Trump's speech in Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, let me show everybody this. Let me leave us out with this one too. Let me show the clip of Biden, just because all the media wants to talk about like Biden this, Biden that. This was Biden today. He's in New York City. This was Biden today. Here, let's play this clip. The guy looks fine. And things were much more normal and far more stable. And America was in a far better place. And that's what matters to me. All right, everybody, hit subscribe here. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. And remember, subscribe to Cohen's YouTube channel as well at The Michael Cohen Show. Thanks, everybody. Good show, Cohen. Bye-bye, everybody. Shout out, Brigaders.